Hi, so it's Friday morning, working this morning as I've got to do some other jobs later on today to do with my proper job. We're recapping where we've been over the last little while, as it's been a while since I last videoed. So 2 weeks ago I put in the windows, but I had some problems with the windows in that they were leaking. As I had told you before, I had a lot of problems with the glue, but I've managed to seal them at the top there. You can see a little bit of white Sikaflex, but basically I've resealed them and they are working okay, and they are no longer leaking, which is good news. Today I've cleared out the van pretty much, and the plan is to lay the floor. This plywood will come up, and I'm just at the moment, before I take the plywood up, which is just literally sitting on top of the floor, it's not screwed down, I'm going to build a frame, and the frame will go onto the floor, be glued to the floor, and then we will put insulating material inside of the frame and lay the floor on top. I've also managed to buy some nice offcuts of hex board, which is this stuff here. I can't really see that. Oh, there you are, there's the pattern now. It's plywood which is covered with a sort of a plasticky covering, and it's in grey, and the hope is that in part of the floor underneath where these chairs are going to be, there will be hex board, which will be a bit stronger, and then the rest will be vinyl floored over the top of the wooden floor. What I do need to do today is I need to check underneath the van to see where these seats can be fixed. It's not a job I'm doing myself. My friend Mark Alexander is going to be doing that job, but that's for Monday. So I want to get the floor in before he does that, but I want to see where the seats can be fixed, and he said I need to check underneath the van to see that we can fit them in the place that I want them to be. Okay, so this has been this morning's job. Trying to cut up the frame so that we've got a frame fitting all the way from top, from back to front. Gonna add a few little side pieces here, but I'm pleased with that. It's looking good. I've tried to follow the ridges of the van, so it's standing up slightly off the floor. Then what will happen is the insulation will go in the gaps. Because of the way the ribs are working, unfortunately I can't just get even 50 centimeter square things, so I'm going to have to cut them to the right size to fit them in. Okay, after a busy Friday with a few breaks in between for work, we have now got the floor down. It's Saturday morning, it's around about 10:30. The frame is all built. As you can see, it kind of a bit disjointed, trying to go with the bits of the floor that are upward, corrugated sort of shape, and then I've glued all that down with Sikaflex. Run out mid gluing, so I had to do a quick whiz off to screw fix. Thank you very much, guys, for sorting me out, and now it's glued down. So quick cup of coffee, then we come back and we're going to begin to cut the 25mm insulation board, similar to that there, only half the width, and drop it into the spaces and use contact adhesive to just give it a bit of extra seal and hold it in place. Okay, so it's 12 o'clock. We've got a lot to get through today, but we're halfway through. Well, not quite, but about 40% of the way through the flooring, and so that's good. Just got to keep going, and I've got to try and lay at least some of the floor back down before Monday. So could be a long stretch today. Okay, so this weekend we've been getting the van ready for Mark to be able to fit the seats. At one stage we were planning on fitting the seats directly behind the driver's seat, but we're looking at this possibility, obviously without the towel. That's to stop it scratching the floor. Looking at this orientation now, facing the side door, only because of the other things that we're constructing. So basically at this yellow line, this is where we plan to have our bathroom. So they'd be looking at a bathroom wall, which is a little bit boring. It would mean I wouldn't bother getting a big window for this side, although I might get a small window behind them. I would still go for the big window on the side of the door. I'm actually out on the road today, so I can actually open my side door. And then we have fitted this nice hex board floor. I've still got some left over, which I'm going to use to put a nice tidy step in there with hex board. And there's some of the board left over. I've rejigged the flooring, taken out the worst bits of the flooring. So I now think that this flooring, which isn't attached to the floor at the moment, it's just placed over the top of my insulation, which we did over the weekend. And I put a little box here to keep the power station in place and put a bigger board behind it there. That yellow line is the level at which the bed is likely to be. And so I may change this back panel here if it's too tall, but it's just to keep everything in place. Especially as we're going to be transporting some stuff in the van over the next few days. It's going to be going on a trip to Ireland to pick up some stuff unrelated to the van, but to do with family. But I'm pleased with the way it's coming along. The ceiling is now ready for the ceiling panels. I've laid some cables just where things will be and run them back to the box, but not plugged anything in. And as you can see, it's starting to take shape, which is good news. Hard weekend's work, but it was well worth it. And these boards here, these grey boards, are just sitting on top of the other boards for the moment. Cleared the van out so that it's going off to the garage tomorrow. The garage jobs are hopefully fitting the seat in position, two new tyres, brakes, and undersealing the body of the van. So hopefully by the end of tomorrow we'll be a whole lot further on. Thank you, have fun.